Hi everyone, it's Anthony and Rachel.
Hi.
From Don't Crop Me Now. And today we are going to pick the last of our summer cabbages. This is the last summer crop that needs to come out before winter. Most of the other things that are in will be okay to stay in for the overwinter period.
As you can see, there's still quite a few summer cabbages left. We've already made a batch of sauerkraut and actually quite liked it, so I think I'll make a bit more of that. I'm not sure what the plans are for these cabbages. However, once they're harvested and the outer leaves are removed, they will actually last up to a month or so in cold storage. So what I'll probably do is keep them in our garage, or keep a couple of them, as many as we can fit probably realistically, in the fridge. Some of the red cabbages that we've got on the back will probably pickle, but the green cabbages will have to have a plan for, so a little bit more sauerkraut. I'm not really sure about the rest. The EnviroMesh net that covered these cabbages has not been removed at all fully for the whole season. I did put my hand through and pull out sort of the weeds I could reach and see, but as you can see, the weeds are not too bad. It's mainly the odd little dandelion that's probably blown in from neighbouring plots. So what we will do today is we are going to cut down the cabbages, take out the outer leaves. We will leave the roots of the cabbages in because we will just then mulch over the top of the bed, and I will hand pull these weeds that are on the surface. Some of these cabbages have not quite fully heartened up. It's got a heart there, but it's solid-ish. So what we will do is we just pull these outer leaves off. These ones are slug damaged anyway. I imagine there's probably a few little slugs hiding within these leaves. This can just go on the compost. And if Anthony can point at the ground, you can see where we've cut off the root from the cabbage, and I will leave that in so I'm not disturbing the ground too much and it's easier for us to mulch straight over. You can see there's one of the little critters that's been having a munch on these cabbages. So this one itself isn't a massively brilliantly hearted cabbage, but it'll be good for my sauerkraut. So there we've got the cabbage, and you can actually hang them upside down, tied around here. Any of the water will drip out and they'll start to dry a little. The outer leaves may look a little bit less than perfect after a few weeks, but again, you can just peel those off. That's a snail. And they're quite good to store like that, and if you've still got the stalk on, they're easy to tie up. Now this one is much heavier, so it's likely to have a better, fuller heart of the cabbage. If you have a look at this one, we've got a reasonable amount of slug and snail damage, and that's really because there's so many cabbages and we are in mid-November, so they really should have been out and eaten a long while ago. So in the summer you shouldn't really have the same amount of problem as these. The white stuff that you can see a little bit of there, that's whitefly, and again that's typical at this time of year. Don't worry about that too much. What you can do if you cut and shred your cabbage up is put it in your sink with a load of salt. Anything that's on it will just come off and can be easily rinsed away. The whitefly won't really be on the heart anyway. It is heavy actually, this. There you go, look at those little snails. They're the ones. So this is a better cabbage. You see the water dripping out actually, there you go. That's why it's a good idea to hang them upside down. We've cleared all the green cabbages and we're going to move on to these reds now. We've harvested quite a few of these already. Because we put the plants quite close together, they're about a foot apart. You tend to get smaller heads, but these are really nice and solid. So between the ones we've got here, we should have enough to make a good few jars of pickled cabbage, which is about right for us to last us through until the summer. We've taken the outer leaves off the red cabbages so you can see them a little bit better. And you can see the spacing really. between here and here. It's around a foot. Obviously these are falling over a little bit, so it's a foot. And that does tend to give you the smaller cabbages, which works really well for us. If you do want larger cabbages, I would go for a good 18 inches to 2 foot between each plant. So this is the cabbages we've harvested. Overall, these ones are pretty good and quite solid hearts of cabbage. This one and this one I've not really hearted up properly and have just sort of blown a bit, but we will feed these ones to our chickens. If we have a look at the bed, you can see the typical weeds that we've got left on our no dig plot. We've got a tiny bit of the odd grass coming up. That's probably not couch grass, that's probably just an annual grass. There's a good few of the dandelions that need pulling out. It's important to try and get the roots out with those. And then we've got a little bit over here of mare's tail that we do get coming through. So again, I will just pull that out. And as you can see, it's probably going to be, you know, a 5-minute job that to sort this bed out, and then it will be left. It will look like the bed behind it. This one certainly needs these raised beds taken out and fixing, but the actual compost topping is looking really good. And we will mulch these, because if you have a look at some of our recent videos, we've got that massive delivery of really lovely composted manure. Because we haven't done the bean test to test that to make sure it's free from weed killer, we are not going to mulch these beds this winter, which we would normally do. We're going to mulch them in the spring. So most of these beds we'll probably leave actually like this as a couple of as an experiment really. I'm going to put some cardboard just on the top weighted down without any compost on for the winter, and some of them do have green manure as well. I've just got down on my kneeling mat to hand pull these weeds, and look at this absolute beast of an earthworm that has just crawled out of one of the gaps on our raised bed. So you can see the soil life really loves no dig. There is a rather large dandelion that's obviously self-seeded on the edge of this bed. This is one of the disadvantages of having an edge on your beds. As you can see here, there's lots of green material on the top. This will compost absolutely fine. The roots, I mean, a lot of people do compost perennial weed roots on their compost. I would only recommend doing this if you are really sure of being able to get a hot composting system, whereas at this time of year, we're not really chopping ours up enough to sort of guarantee that. What I would do is try and get my hand right down with this root, pull this out. I might have missed a tiny bit, maybe it's broke a little bit off the end, but I certainly got the majority of that root out. That's what you want to try and do if you do have any of these deep rooted weeds. And then what I tend to do is I will rip off that top bit and put that in my good composting pile. And then this bit, you can either bag and dispose, you can take to the council tip, you can put in your green bin. You can certainly drown those and compost them no problems, even on a cold heap. I'm being a little bit lazy with that bit, and I'm going to take a few of those bad roots to the tip, because there's only a few of them anyway, and I'm having to go to the tip with some other stuff. So that's what I'm going to do, and they'll go in the green bin at the council tip. We also had a few of the Filderkraut variety cabbages, which are the specific ones for sauerkraut, that were left in this section of this bed. So we've just taken them out and we'll see what we can salvage. Those are the ones that definitely hadn't hearted up, because I'll be honest, I did not realise how big those cabbages were going to be, and we definitely had too many in this space. So we've got some that haven't completely hearted up, but there might be some salvageable sections from the middle. If not, either the compost or the chickens will enjoy them. And you can see that in this brassica bed we have got some winter cabbages in. These should be ready after January. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe. It only takes a minute, but it really helps our channel.